Dave Grohl, welcome to the project again.
It's good to be back
It's
virtually.
It's great to have you back. I'm afraid it's virtually. It was much better when it was in person, but this is what we have to deal with. I do have to note, I was actually meant to interview you a few days ago, and you had to pull out at the last minute because you were receiving a call or something from Dave Chappelle because you were about to go and do Saturday Night Live. So that's the kind of whirlwind that we're in. How was that experience at that time in the US election?
Well, usually when you do Saturday Night Live, it takes months and months of preparation. So you've got people from the record company and people from the management talking to people from the network and people from Saturday Night Live. This time we got the call on Tuesday and they basically said, "Hey, do you want to do Saturday Night Live?" And we said, "Of course, when?" And they said, "Saturday." And we're like, "Oh my God." So we just threw all the gear on an airplane and flew out there to do the show. It was amazing. I mean, that show, I've been doing that show for almost 30 years now, since the first time Nirvana played there in 1992 to this amazing show last weekend. It's one of my favorite television shows of all time. So it's such an honor to be included in it. But then, you know, to have the host be Dave Chappelle and then wake up that morning and they've actually called the election and declared Joe Biden the winner. The energy in New York City and in that studio was pretty amazing. It was great.
Well, and you had new music to release that you were just about to unleash on the world. It was kind of all happening. I'll get to the new music in a second, but I can't help but notice that the last Foo Fighters album did have a really strong Trump theme. And now this one is different, right? Obviously, it doesn't have that theme, but it seems like a different kind of a world. Did you single-handedly bring down Donald Trump?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Listen, I don't even take my own advice, so I don't know if anyone would ever take mine. But no, I mean, this album we started recording it a year ago. We finished it in February. We knew that, you know, it's our 25th anniversary. We knew that 2020 was going to be a huge year, and it's our 10th record. So we decided to make this real up kind of party album. So all the songs have this, they all have groove and they're big choruses. And we're like, this is going to be amazing in a stadium. This is going to be incredible at those huge festivals. And then, you know, everything stopped. We finally decided, you know, to let it out, even though none of those things are happening right now. But, you know, I think when you're writing songs, you're obviously, or you should be influenced by the reality of your environment. So the last album was the same in that I was, you know, just sort of like writing within this atmosphere, whether it was emotional or political, whatever it was. This album, it was the same feeling, same way of writing a record. But as I look back on the lyrics that I wrote a year ago now, they do apply to what's going on, and they're relevant to what's happening right now. So it's funny. I mean, when I go out, the great thing about being in a rock band is that when you go out and sing a song to 50,000 people and 50,000 people sing it back, they might be singing it for 50,000 different reasons. But the great thing is, no matter who you are, where you're from, what political party you subscribe to, what religion you are, the one thing that can bring people together in a chorus is music. And if it's the right song that everybody feels that universal emotion, that brings everyone together in that moment. And I mean, this album, there are a lot of songs that I think do the same thing.
So I take it then you're waiting for the full 50,000 people in the crowd to come back. You're not going to do a Joe Biden style, I'll stand up here and you all sit in your cars and just toot whenever you like something.
I mean, listen, you know, we Saturday Night Live was the first time we've played in front of people in about a year.
Wow.
You know, they have a reduced audience and it's just a bunch of camera guys and roadies, but still to play music to people felt so great. For a long time, I thought, you know, I don't really want to have to just do the Zoom thing and play virtually to nobody. But when the six of us get together with instruments in our laps, I don't really care how many people are there. It just feels good to be with my guys making music. So until we can come back to those festivals and stadiums and things like that, you'll be seeing a lot of us sort of like you'll be seeing a lot of the band working towards that day. Because I mean, ultimately, I just love to play music. You know,
Yeah.
even if it's just here in my own studio by myself, that's kind of what I was born to do.
I was going to compliment you on those guitars. They look immaculate. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Are they special apart from the fact that they're very good guitars? Are there stories behind them?
Those are just for decoration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those I've never even touched those. I don't know what those
They
are.
don't even have strings on them. I got it. I understand. But on the COVID thing and the crowds, it seems to me anyway that it would influence or it would have a different effect on different styles of music. So you're playing in a rock band, and rock bands are about crowds heaving, you know, those mosh pits, that sort of energy. Whereas if you were playing, you know, in a folk act or something like that, it might be a different kind of thing. Like, I know you started writing this album before COVID, but how do you reckon COVID's going to influence the art or the music that comes out of that period?
Well, one thing that I've noticed in the last 6 months is that people that are creatively restless, like myself, when you're like locked down and stuck at home, that creative muscle starts to spasm. It doesn't necessarily atrophy. It just starts going nuts. And you look for new outlets, you know, you look for new ways to express yourself. I started writing all these short stories and started making 10 different kinds of lasagna, you know, like whatever it is, just to keep, you know, the calendar flipping, you kind of have to do it. But I started getting emails from different musicians that I've met over the years that all basically said the same thing. They said, you know, we've been doing the same thing and been stuck in the same lane for so long that it's time to get weird. So they call me when they want to do a weird side project. They're like, hey, Dave, let's get weird. And so I'm here in the studio and I'm sending people drum tracks and working on songs with other people. I think not necessarily related to the live thing, but I do think that this time away has been really good for musicians, and that next year you'll see this wave of music coming from some of your favorite musicians that will surprise you, because people are inside and they're thinking outside. And I think it's going to make a big difference. As far as the live thing goes, you just have to, you know, we don't have the wheel on this one.
Yeah.
You know, I might have an itinerary, but I'm not steering the boat. And so you just kind of wait to see how it happens. And the most important thing is that when it's done safely and properly, so that your audience, the people that you care for the most, are safe in doing that. You know, ask Dr. Fauci. I have no idea. I can't answer this question. But the minute they give us the green light, we'll be there, as long as it's the right thing to do, you know.
What's the weirdest musical thing you've done during this period?
The weirdest musical thing I've done?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Learned a Rihanna song with my daughter. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, jammed with people that, you know, that might or might not be in the Grateful Dead, like things like that. It's just every single day you just kind of think like, all right, what am I going to do? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll make a fake pharmaceutical commercial about a caffeine withdrawal drug. That's today's project. And then a few days later, you just start thinking, because ultimately what I've noticed, and this began I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I wound up in an online drum battle with a 10-year-old girl from England.
This was amazing.
Okay?
I couldn't believe how this unfolded. I mean, she's incredible. You've got some serious competition there, by the way.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, she's first of all, she's kicking my ass, but it's really inspiring because I'd seen her play before online. She did a Nirvana song, and Nirvana's producer sent me this Instagram thing and said, have you seen this girl? She's really good. And I watched it and saw her on television. I'm like, wow, she's great. And then I get this Instagram thing, and my friend said, okay, she's calling you out. She's like, I challenge you to a drum battle, Dave Grohl. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then I just start getting text after text, people saying, you know, come on, man, step up. You have to, you know, you have to respond. So she and I get into this back and forth drum battle. And what I noticed was it brought happiness and joy to a lot of people. You wake up in the morning, you pick up your phone, you turn on your computer and you think, oh God, what's it going to be today? You know, you're just waiting for the bad news. You're just waiting for the black cloud. You're just waiting. But for 4 minutes, if you clicked on this thing, you would smile. And that's when I thought, okay, if I can't do those stadiums and I can't do those festivals right now, I just have to bring joy some other way, whether it's releasing a record or doing things to show the world or our audience that I just want you to feel happy for 4 minutes and 10 seconds out of the day. Just bring a little joy and happiness. And so I was really inspired by this girl who I think, you know, helps everybody feel a little joy in their day. And it's not over yet.
Oh.
It's not over.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the last thing I saw is that you wrote a song for and about her. So is the ball in her court now, or do you have something else?
Then she wrote a song for and about me that's far superior to the thing that I did here in my studio. But I have an idea. I got an idea.
Can you give us any indication as to what the nature of it is?
Let me just say that sometimes you just have to concede defeat, okay? This could be a message to the world right now, but sometimes you just have to say, okay, you win.
All right. So after months of being barricaded in your own house, telling everybody to go away, you've decided that you're going to have to come out and just accept what's going on. Are you telling us that she's replacing you in the Foo Fighters? Is that what's happening here? Because that's the coded message.
Listen, if that's what it takes to get another 25 years in this band, then we might have to recruit her somehow. I think she's still in 6th grade, but we'll figure that out.
Excellent. Do you know what I loved about that whole thing, though, was that I love rock. I mean, I love a lot of different kinds of music, but that's probably, if I have to live with one kind for the rest of my life, that's the kind. But I can't escape this feeling that rock has been dying for a long time. You know, it's people of your generation who are kind of still the vanguard, and it's very hard for new rock musicians to come up. And then I see her come along, and I wonder, you know, does rock have a future that we haven't seen?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 3 daughters. I have a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 6-year-old. My 14-year-old was born with whatever that musical gene is. So she has perfect pitch, she has a photographic memory, she can hear something and play it without any instruction at all. She is a musician, and I'm watching her discover music. And I have for, you know, since she was maybe 6 or 7 years old, her first Beatles records and things like that. She and all of her friends are musically inclined, and I see how they communicate. I see what they listen to. They all play guitar. They all play keyboards. There's drummers. There is another generation of musicians that love to write songs and play rock music. There just is. It's not up to us to decide whether that's going to be the most popular genre of music. Again, it's up to them. And from what I see and what I hear booming out of my daughter's bedroom, whether it's like an early David Bowie live bootleg or a new band that I've never heard of, or, you know, or Etta James or the Sex Pistols or whatever, that they're discovering they're discovering music in a way that we didn't when we were young. And it's very exciting because it's more diverse. But I'm the last person to ask if rock and roll is dead, because whenever I step out on a stage, there's 50,000 people there singing every song. So when people ask me that question, I'm like, it wasn't last Thursday. So I don't think, you know, it's been going strong. And so, but I mean, there's nothing like standing in an audience, seeing another human being on stage with an instrument in their hand, singing their heart out to the world. Like, that's what it's all about. When you humanize that experience and you realize it's just human beings singing to and about other human beings, that's where it's at. The instruments might change, the tempo might change, but that's what it's all about, and that will never go away.
So congratulations on 25 years. I assume there's going to be, when it's safe, there'll be a tour, probably a world tour. We'll get to see you then, and I look forward to seeing you when that happens. I can't leave this interview, though, without noting what happened on the 20th anniversary tour in 2015, where you broke your leg on stage in Sweden and you had to complete the rest of the tour in a cast. So I won't say break a leg. I'll just say good luck for the tour and all.
I may or may not be sitting in a wheelchair right now. You can't see it.
That is true. That is true. Do you see yourself performing on stage with Foo Fighters or some other rock band in your 80s in a wheelchair?
Okay. When we made our first record and went out on tour, we thought, that was fun. Let's do it one more time. Then we made our second record and we went on tour. We were like, that was fun. Let's do it one more time. That was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So every time we make a record, we sort of imagine, okay, if this were the last one, we'd be the luckiest band in the world. We got to experience all of these things we experienced. But, you know, at this point, I'm just trying to get through Monday. You know, I just want to get to Tuesday morning. So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. I'm sure whatever we see, you will be a part of it. Thank you very much for speaking to us again. We could keep going forever. Good luck. Congratulations on the new album. I think the stuff I've heard from it's really, really great. So congratulations on it, and we'll hear more from you soon.
I hope to see you guys soon. Miss you.
Thanks, Dave.